Hi, welcome to Suplex the Sticks, a gaming podcast hosted by David and Seth.
Hello.
And Forrest.
Howdy.
I have a lollipop.
It's Forrest's birthday. Happy birthday, Forrest.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Forrest.
I don't know.
When anyone who listens to this is going to be after your birthday, unfortunately.
I'll take belated birthday wishes.
Unless you listen to it 1 year from now.
Oh.
I don't know if this is the
I hope
first
someone
time
does.
we've recorded on someone's birthday.
I think we've avoided them. This is the first.
Somehow, yeah.
No, wait, I think our first episode ever was on my birthday.
Yeah.
But Seth wasn't even on that one. That was on me and the Maxwells doing a pilot episode.
That's fun.
That was the episode 0. I'd have to go back and look, but
I remember not being on that.
Yeah. Man, those early days. I think it's worth
we had a
going
good
back and
time.
listening to, but it is hard to listen to them because
We should do remastered versions where we record word for word the things we said.
Yeah.
that would
Which would be super easy for you and I for that 0 episode.
Yeah. Like, we're already banked.
Yeah, that would be rough. That would be.
I think it's possible to do one episode like that.
I would be
Right off the
excited.
script.
I would be excited to get to the lasagna episode, which made Seth actually mad. I don't think there's nothing else that it wasn't my fault. Well, it was, but my lasagna, the oven timer going off mid episode.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a good time.
It was a good timer.
Yeah,
There are many dumb things that happened.
yeah. The bat that attacked you mid episode. There's
I remember
there's good
that.
stuff. There's good stuff. That was more recent, but it's still a favorite memory of mine. We need to record an outside episode. That does need to happen. Seth's
I've done
porch. Seth's porch is great.
Yeah.
We could go. The cats would walk up to us. It'd be great.
That is true.
Or in the sauna at your apartment complex, Forrest.
Yeah.
I've
I
never
don't
been
know.
inside there.
I don't
Come
know
on, man.
how long the computer or microphone would last in the sauna before overheating, but
One of our patios wouldn't
I don't
be a
think
bad
they would
place
overheat.
for
I
it.
think the water would be the
yeah,
issue.
the water. Well, is it a dry sauna or a wet sauna? There's a difference. I learned that on the
I
Disney
wish
cruise.
I could tell you.
I think it's a wet sauna.
On the Disney
I've
cruise,
been in
You've been in
I've been in
my
there once.
complex's place.
Yeah. many years ago.
There's-
I
there's-
used to know someone who lived there.
there's multiple types of saunas. I learned that on the Disney cruise. There's a wet sauna, a dry sauna. I was in a cold
A
sauna.
dry sauna seems like an oxymoron.
Yeah,
Desert.
yeah. The dry sauna is just like dry heat.
Ugh.
But yeah,
That's
the
a
wet,
nice change of pace.
the
from
wet
usual
sauna
Florida
usually
heat.
has a lot of steam, which is sort of a steam room, less of a sauna. But
I feel like that's what you want when you're going into a sauna.
That's
is
what I
the steam.
imagine is a steam.
I just want
as a
sweat.
sauna is a steam room.
no, I want.
So
I don't want
you wanna,
the liquid.
You want to be in a sweat lodge.
Yes,
Although even those, I'm pretty sure, are full of steam.
but yeah, love to sweat it out. It's my favorite thing. Anytime I'm in a bad mood, I want to be in a sauna because when you're in there, you can only think of the heat.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
It drains all emotion out of you.
Yes,
Pools but under your feet.
but also you burn your lips on your metal water bottle because you're dumb. That's definitely happened to me before. I don't know why I didn't think metal would get hot in there, but that was a fun moment for me.
What happens if I bring metal into an oven?
Bud, I'm smart, but I'm also dumb. I don't know what to tell you.
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah. So let's talk about video games. I beat video games in total, all of them.
Wow.
Every
Oh
one
my
of
God.
them. Yeah.
How did you love Mega Man 03?
I did not touch that one. I don't know. Sorry. I beat Mario Wonder. Super
Nice.
Mario Brothers Wonder. I played some of it co-op. It was fine. But I played the rest of it by myself. It was amazing. I cannot recommend this game enough. If you did not like New Super Mario Brothers, like me and Seth,
And most of the world.
Really?
A lot of people like those games.
Yeah.
I think in hindsight, though, people don't realize they're bad.
But this game's amazing. The level design, the art, the creativity in the
Just store that up there.
and like the wonder sections when you get the wonder mushrooms. It's amazing. Sometimes the levels go into like a top-down experience. Sometimes you end up sort of Celeste style swimming between floating orbs. There's a lot of really cool things that happen. And the game does have challenging points if you want to go into the secret worlds and hit those challenges. Nothing gets as hard as, say, like a Celeste or something like that on a platforming level, but it does get challenging, which is good. I think I talked last time we recorded about how I actually had kind of nailed that supposed, like people have been posting about how they found like the hardest level in it, and I kind of nailed that within 4 or 5 tries.
Nice.
I think that people just had a hard time with it because it was rhythm based, and
We're built different.
I'm built different.
Yeah.
I do a good job with rhythm stuff unless it's Hi-Fi Rush, and then I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't feel bad about this one, Cadence of Hyrule, because Seth even couldn't do that one. So
Game confused me.
listen. At the end of the day, if I get mad at it, and then Seth also is like, I don't know how this works.
There's a legit
I'd still,
difference.
I'd still like to go back to that.
I'd love to learn it. I have it downloaded on my Switch still to this day. And every time I try to go back to it, I'm like, this, I just cannot do it. I can't do it. I want to. It looks cool. I love it. The art style and like the game idea and the fact that Nintendo let another company use their IP. Like,
Yeah.
I'm here for it. It is weird though. But yeah, I played all of Mario Wonder, beat it. I've been playing Alan Wake 2. I cannot talk too much about that game because I don't want to spoil it for Seth. But Alan Wake 2 is amazing.
Yes.
We're going to talk about some of the Game of the Year stuff and like the Game Awards later on in this episode. But if you would have asked me earlier what my Game of the Year was going to be, I would have definitively said Tears of the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
This game is doing things that are insane that I am just so excited to further interact with. I still have half of the game left.
Yeah.
But the things it is doing with scene setting and scene changing and using the different scenes to collect information.
Kind of paint
It's
a
really
larger
hard.
picture.
Yes, it's really hard to talk around the stuff, the mechanics that are happening, because it also sounds like I'm being hyperbolic because we all know how much I like Alan Wake.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that the things that this video game are doing are
Bonkers.
mechanically. So, like, the first Alan Wake was cool because the story was bonkers, right? But mechanically, it was a very simple game.
Yeah.
Point, flashlight, shoot, collect thermos. That's it. And it's
Yes.
great. It was great. Love it. You listen to Alan talk, whole deal. This game decides, and I don't know how Remedy pushed this game out as fast as they did. It's actively insane. It changes the game loop of weird mechanic that like genuinely there are things you do, Seth, that genuinely change the world around you.
Yeah.
And then like
split second.
ooh, no, actually here's a weird thing that like is for me and you and like a couple other people maybe. Like Oracle of Seasons. Like you change stuff
Yes.
and then
Interesting.
paths and aesthetics and like all kinds of stuff branch. And it's like this game is beautiful and it is happening at a
is
clip.
one of the best looking
There's
games
like
I've ever
no
seen.
loading screen.
Yeah.
The game just changes. And I'm like, how is this possible? How did they build this game to work this way? It blows me away. And then on top of the mechanical changes, you also have a hard time getting lost in what you're supposed to do in the game, because both Alan and Saga have this thing called the Mind Place, where it's different for Alan, but for Saga it's called the Mind Place. And anytime you hit the back button on your controller,
the Mind Palace.
so they actually specifically say it's a play on the Mind
Yes.
Palace.
Okay.
It's
Right
her
at the
mind
start.
place. They say
Yeah.
they
They
point
know.
that out. They know what they're doing. She says it's sort of like my mind palace, but it's my mind place.
Yeah.
She says something along
It's
those
a little
lines.
less extravagant.
Right.
That's funny.
And so you are in there building your own like
Information
information, like
center.
Pepe Sylvia type case
Yes,
boards,
case
like
board.
with the red string and everything.
You've got the map board next to
Yes.
it.
All the
You've got a few desks
suspects.
around.
Yes.
Yes, with
and
profiling
your
stations.
yes.
Like, I just, boy, they're like, honestly, going into the Mind Place is one of my favorite parts about this game.
I wish it didn't ask you to go. The game does ask you to go to the Mind Place a lot. And once you get used to it, it doesn't. But at the first, when you're getting used to it, because no other video game asks you to do this.
No.
So that's like, it is a menu. At the end of the day, the Mind Place is a menu, but it is an interactive, customizable, moving around menu. And what they are doing is very brilliant with that. And they're asking you to spend time there to examine things and look at the stuff around you. And so they want you to keep going back to it. It's hard to get used to that because you want to keep playing the game.
Yeah.
But you do need to be going to, because there is stuff in the world, and this is good for you to know before you go in. There is some stuff in the world that become very hard to know what you're supposed to do if you're not going to that Mind Place to plot out the things you get.
Yeah, see how the threads all go back to what like your main objective is, kind of just recollecting
So
yourself.
it's hard to, without having played the game, I can't fully like create comparisons. But it does sound similar to mechanics that I've encountered in detective games.
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
for sure.
And even the it sounds like what the thing that was in Outer Wilds that also had a mechanic where you
Right.
gathered information and it went up on a board that showed connections between other stuff.
Right. So it is, and this will tell you, like, you'll hear Saga say, well, that's that on that. And it'll tell you that something is wrapped up.
That's nice. Nice for her to know that.
Yeah. You know,
I think this plot is wrapped up.
because it can't dangle if you don't know.
Right,
You
it
know what I
makes
mean?
sense
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like have something saying, okay, I think I've
There-
exhausted this line of inquiry or
Yeah,
something.
right.
Otherwise, it's like, okay, well,
She somehow always has just enough room on the wall for the case board.
Man, it is wild how,
easily.
like, the wall does
Well organized.
allow enough space. So, yeah, but it is a fantastic game. In my opinion, the Alan sections are more horror-based than the Saga sections so far.
Yeah.
probably makes sense. I mean, it does make sense.
I mean, he's literally in a nightmare.
Yeah.
he's in the dark place.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very
Oh
scary.
my god! Like Alan's first like chapter though that you played through, like that entire just first section for Alan's side of the game, amazing.
Yeah. Please play this with a high-quality TV and, like, the game on the best settings it can.
Yeah.
I'm not playing on the 60 frames per second mode because this game doesn't need to be 60 frames per second. You need to play this in the quality mode so you can see how beautiful this game is, because you're also not getting how beautiful this game is, because if you look at the base PC stats, beefy cards are needed for this game.
Yeah.
Because genuinely, like, there's a lot of really cool stuff to be seen and done. They do a lot of really great effects with layering at times, like live action translucently over what you're doing.
Yes.
Oh my god, it hits all the spots. And I keep going back to like, I have to accept in some ways that some of the stuff I'm not going to see in the game is fine, because there is so many ways that some things can branch. And there is a right way and a wrong way. So like, it's not like the game is asking you to find the correct path, but also giving you reason to explore the other options.
Yeah.
And so I'm just kind of deciding to go through, especially because I don't know if you know this, Forrest. They have announced that there is going to be a New Game Plus to this game.
So I saw that, but I didn't actually look into it.
And the New Game Plus is going, because this is how it is, it's going to be different story-wise.
Oh my god.
So the New Game Plus is going to introduce different and like, yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
So like, I'm going to
Heck.
want to replay this because I'm going to want to know what's different. And that's the other weird thing, is that there is stuff in this story that is just different. Sheriff Breaker in the original game is a female, and Sheriff Breaker in this game is
A dude named Tim?
it's Iceman from X-Men. I can't
my
remember. Sean
God.
Ashmore. It's Sean Ashmore.
Oh my god.
Who was the guy in Quantum Break.
Yeah, that's
And so it's like, hold on, you were a female in the original game.
if they were an actual person in the original game.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So like, there's just a lot of like weird stuff. Of course, you do get to see. I have seen one character from Control, and I popped off. I ascended.
That's fun.
I almost
I love
like a video game commercial rose from the couch
Yes.
from my chest, like
Did you come across them in Watery when you first got
Yes.
there?
Yes, I did.
I sat there for a solid like 10 minutes.
yeah, it's great. And I can't remember if they did this in Alan Wake 1, but this game has individual songs for each of the ends of the chapters. So like,
I'm pretty sure they did that in 1 too. It's just the songs in the first game weren't as good.
So like, these have like 3-minute long songs at the end of the chapters
And
as
they're
like an end
bangers.
credits, and they're bangers. So you just sit there with this creepy Windows visualizer basically happening, with Alan Wake's face or
In
something
Saga's
showing up
face.
every once in a
Yeah,
while.
Nice.
And then
And
you're listening to this great
You're
music.
listening to the whole song because it's great. I've not skipped a single one of them
Yeah,
yet.
they're amazing.
Yeah.
I skipped the Alan ones because they are the same. The Alan
Yeah?
ones are the same.
Okay.
But the Saga ones are all different. Maybe the Alan ones are different, but at least musically
Are they
they're very
original
similar.
songs?
Yes, I think
Pretty
so.
sure.
I haven't gone on my way to look it up because I am very nervous to see spoilers for this game.
Yeah, like I'm trying
Even
to...
in like titles of tracks.
Yeah.
like, it's easy
Even
to
right.
find.
So even in titles and like, even news websites are starting to get ballsy with some of the headlines for this game, and I'm like, I don't want to know anything. Please stop.
It's like they
give it a week and a half, and then they go for SEO.
Yeah, it's just
Crazy.
like
They
they're,
go for the
they're
throat
chomping at
on
the
it.
bit to put spoilers directly into headline articles.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And for some things, I don't care about it, but when it is stuff that I'm
That you were
actually
deeply
interested
invested
in, not trying to learn about what happens until I experience it.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
really annoying.
And it's like, it's why I told Chris, friend of the show, best friend Chris, you need to play all of Spider-Man 2 as fast as possible. Because there's going to be stupid comic book resources or
CBR.
IGN articles
Freaking CBR,
that say like, like, what is this character? And it's like, dude, you're going to be ruined that this character is in the game. And like,
Did you know?
right?
This is who
Did
this
you
is
know
and
this
what's
is
go-
who
what he's
this
going-
is?
Even
And
though they don't tell you his name the whole game,
right.
here it is.
And so it's just like that kind of stuff is going to ruin some of the nice little moments in that Spider-Man game, which I also beat. I don't think we talked about that since beat Spider-Man. Great game. But yeah, I'm about halfway through Alan Wake 2. I'm loving every second of it. Luckily, we have this weekend coming up and the Thanksgiving weekend, so I will be beaten sooner than later. Friday brings Super Mario RPG, so that's going to be on my Switch.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
You know, they're doing GameStop's doing a midnight release for that.
Really?
Yeah, I got a phone call.
I love that.
The other day. I was not expecting
For
that to be one of the things they would do.
That's weird. I'll have it on my Switch because I got the
voucher.
The voucher thing. Yeah. That voucher is how I'm going to get Nintendo games from now on, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense if you don't care about getting the physical games, there's no reason to not do it.
Yeah. And you know what? That opening that little door with my fingernail is going to make me not want to change a cart ever. So
it's not that hard.
Yes, but it is annoying. And so
but I enjoy the bounciness when you push that card out.
Makes me feel like I'm using my DS again.
I have almost traded in Mario Kart and Smash Bros. Physically to buy it digitally so that I don't have to.
If you want to get rid of your Mario Kart, I will take it.
Like I just need some of those to be digital instead of physical. Because then I also go back to it more often. Because I'll be like, man, I don't want to trade in Smash. Or I don't want to go get the cart.
Yeah.
So that does bring up, I don't want to take up too much time. I know you played Alan Wake 2, so like you kind of gave some of your opinion.
Yeah.
I have been actively, now that they're all out, going through the Mario Kart DLCs.
Okay.
And I have some complaints because I do not like Tor. I think Tor is bad, and I think what they've done to change some of the older courses to be compliant with Tor is also not good, and it's kind of a bummer, man. I guess I'm glad that we got more tracks at the end of the day, but like this isn't what I want out of Mario Kart, or at least I guess I don't know, man. Just the changing the same the layout of the map while you're in the middle of it, and then it just doesn't work for me. It's not what I want. Unless it's like split second level where you're
the one doing the
you're the one changing.
You're making those choices.
Yeah.
Or those choices are happening to you in like a combative way.
Right. That's what I want.
Rather than just like, okay, lap 1 you turn left here, lap 2 you turn right.
Yeah. I don't want the different paths like that.
I think it also like I think so all of the Mario Kart Tour levels do that. Like every single lap is slightly different and sometimes majorly different than the ones previous to that. And I think it is a neat mechanic in theory. And even there's at least one track that on the beginning of the third lap has you quickly like do a loop and go back like facing the direction of oncoming traffic, which I think is fun. But yeah, it does kind of like there's something iconic about take Luigi Raceway from Mario Kart 64. You know, it's just an oval. But because you can see that picture in the mini map of what it looks like, it gives it a recognizability that you know you kind of lose when you can't really look at a map to see what the track is and what the character.
Each of these maps looks like a Rubik's cube in the middle because you don't know what's what.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. I forget when I learned it, but I did see somewhere on Twitter that all of the returning maps are maps that were in Mario Kart Tour. Like they're basically they've taken the assets and put them onto the Switch game. And there was even, at some point, you could kind of, I think it was in like the second or third wave, you could guess which returning tracks were going to be there based on what had recently released in tour. And I think it's definitely was a bummer to me when I learned that, okay, this isn't, I mean, it is new stuff to do in here, but it isn't real. It's not like original stuff that they're making for this game.
There are a couple original tracks.
Yeah.
But
There are
even
brand new
then,
tracks.
in my opinion, those are not good. I've played them. They're not good. They're very much so like cutting room floor tracks.
They're definitely not of the same quality that the original DLC packs were.
Right.
When they introduced new tracks, like the Animal Crossing one and Dragon Driftway.
One of them was an ice cream sundae level, and like even on some of the older ice cream sundae or like frosting based levels and stuff, you see like the wheels go through the stuff. Basically, it's just plastic. Basically, you're on top of it, and it's like this. The detail isn't here.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm sure we'll get Mario Kart 9 or Mario Kart X or Mario Kart X Combat Racing.
Combat Evolved.
I had a brief Twitter interaction with someone who was saying...
I'm sorry.
They were talking about how they were wondering what because they were in the middle of playing Mario Wonder and were just like thinking out loud about what a Mario Kart Wonder would be. And I brought up, it's like, ooh, it could be like Split Second, where the Wonder Seeds change the track mid race. And I've banged the drum before about, hey, the next Mario Kart needs to just be Split Second because Disney's
all
never gonna
racing
make another
games
one.
need to be split
And
second.
now they have a perfect actual gameplay mechanic to do
to
that.
facilitate it.
Right.
Yeah. That'd be genius.
I know.
It'd be too easy.
It is. It's right there.
It writes itself.
The other ideas of Mario Kart Ultimate, like Smash, where you could even do normal Mario Kart or flying or double dash, like trying to find a way to make all those fit with
Fox
different
only,
series.
Final Desk.
No items.
Yeah.
The final destination of Mario Kart is just like a straight line.
Yeah.
Just a straight line.
It's probably
But
more
you still
like,
have to go back and forth on it.
Yeah.
It's probably more like the SNES Rainbow Road. That's probably Final Destination.
No, Final Destination has to just be pure, all about your own
Baby
skill.
Baby Park is
Kind of, yeah.
Baby Park is kind of
all items removed on 200cc.
Yeah. Just one oval.
What can you do?
Yeah. Good luck.
But yeah, that's what I've been playing. I'm eagerly anticipating Mario RPG. I know I joked before like how Tears of the Kingdom was on my Switch for a long time. Mario RPG was on my Switch like last week in the middle of the week, and I'm like, this is really early. Like, this sucks.
It's just teasing you.
I know, and I want to play it really, really bad because I don't know anything about these people, and Gino looks really awesome.
He is awesome.
And I'm
He's
excited
great.
to see these characters.
I am waiting with bated breath for it to come out. I'm very excited. I was thinking earlier today about it, and I was like, I might have to wait to get that game. And then I was like, what am I talking about? I want to play this right now.
Yeah.
I don't care what I have to trade in to get it. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
So the Tetris 99 had
I did it so I could get the theme.
What do they call them? The Maximus Cup
Yeah.
for a Super Mario RPG theme.
Mm.
And I was very excited because of the music. All these themes always have 3 different types of music from their games.
Nice.
Very interesting. Some of the choices that I could hear being made to differentiate from the original tracks. Some I don't quite think were to the benefit of the track. Just like instrumentation choices.
I was gonna ask, are the rearrangements still done by Yoko Shimomura?
She worked on them.
Okay.
There's, it's interesting. Can say a lot of good things about the original Mario RPG music tracks, but they weren't very long. And so one thing I noticed in each of the three, it's 3 of the battle themes that are the different stages. And I'll have these little flourishes added to make them longer. And I don't know in any case if it actually improves the quality of the song. But also, it should be said that I was playing this while playing Tetris over the top of it, and it's kind of hard to parse out the quality of the music. So I don't know. That is it's definitely the one thing I think I am nervous the most about the game, is the way they are going to bring the music into the modern day. It doesn't really matter because I could just switch over to the original music tracks. But there is that desire in me to want these tracks that have been repeating in my brain for like 20 years.
You want it to be like Final Fantasy VII Remake,
right?
Where like
they were clearly different songs, but it was as if the version that you had in your head was this version that was playing in full orchestral glory.
It was effortless to enjoy it.
So that's what I'm hoping. I don't know. It's definitely the one thing I'm the most nervous about, but the tracks are still great, so I don't imagine there's going to be that much issue. And this stuff in the trailer, apart from the ones that were in Tetris, did sound good too.
What did you play, Seth?
Well, I'll tell you, I have not played Alan Wake, much to the chagrin of my 2 co-hosts.
Hey,
you're only doing yourself a disservice.
It is. It's true.
One of us 3 has to be the person that doesn't play the game everyone else is playing.
Yeah.
And look, I'll tell you what happened. So I went and the day it came out.
It is your own doing.
It really is. I went to GameStop and I used the store credit that I had along with the funds I received from selling Spider-Man 2 to an unknown individual.
Who shall not be named.
Yes, it was Voldemort. Oh, sorry. And I got the like an Xbox card. It's only digital, as we know.
Boo.
And, I came back home, put it in, went to the store, bought Alan Wake, was waiting for it to download and install. And I thought, let me see what's on Game Pass. And so I downloaded a couple of games, I think, or I set some of them to queue. And one of them that I started up, I thought it looked like it was just going to be this kind of roguelike thing. And so I thought, okay, I can kind of play this without putting any, like, a whole lot of mental energy and investment into this.
Yeah.
It's not really a roguelike at all. So this game...
You also ended up putting a lot of mental energy into it.
So this game I'm playing is called WarTales. It is... I forget who the developer is, but it is... How do I describe this? One of the first things that came to mind was that it reminded me a lot of Skyrim, but from like a top-down perspective.
Okay.
Except you're not really playing... There's no kind of great destined hero with magical powers in this game. You start the game... You have this group of 4 people, and you basically get to decide their backstory from a number of pre-chosen one, like your group of bodyguards who lost your merchants, or your just friends who are going out on an adventure, or you are veterans from a war or something. And those kind of determine your individual characters, your starting characters and their classes. And you're just kind of plopped into this world, and it's you're just mercenaries and you go around doing stuff for people. You go around this world and you'll find people's houses, or you'll go into pubs and get missions. It's I say this not in a not in a with a negative connotation, but it is sort of a boring world that you're in. Like, there is nothing fantastical about it. It's just like a medieval kind of RPG. Like, there's a I think what's unique about it is that there is open world survival parts to it, and there's also tactical turn-based battles. Sort of in the vein, not quite in the XCOM. It's sort of in between like what XCOM and Fire Emblem has to offer these days. And the combat is pretty it's fun to do, and I think that's why I kept playing the game, is just because I enjoyed doing the battles. And there's just kind of like, and you can endlessly take quests from people to just go out and do stuff. But it's weird because there is not really any overarching story that I can find. There are different regions that each have their own regional story that you can that generally have two sides that you can choose to side from that affects the outcome. So it's a strange thing that I have found myself like continually drawn to keep playing it. Because the characters don't really have any individual personality. Nothing about the world really is super intriguing from a point of like, oh, I have to know what's going to happen to this world, and there's like no magical creatures. Like, all the animals that you fight, there's bears or wolves or boars, and it's just people with swords and spears and bows and hammers. That are out walking in the world, and you can
take umbrage to them and you fight them.
Yeah, like you can just go up to fight pretty much anyone that you encounter, whether it be criminals on the road, whether it be cops, whether it be merchants. You can see what their inventory is and just decide, I'm going to fight you and take them all. And it can just be, beggars, like a group of people, a group of refugees from a war-torn area. They're like, don't hurt us. We're refugees. You can choose to give them bread, and that will make them happy. And even after that, you can just choose to fight them. And you can also capture anyone that you fight against, which is fun. It's a weird game, but I found it to be very enjoyable to just kind of do things in.
So there's no beating this game.
I mean, I presume there is. There's like a finite amount of like zones, like counties. I think is what they are, and they each have their own like individual story. So I think there's 2 that I haven't been to.
Gotcha.
But it is kind of a game that you could just play forever, because you can also seemingly infinitely add people to your party. Like, there doesn't really seem to be an upward cap that I have found of adding party members. I mean, you do have to keep them fed, so that's kind of
hard.
Yeah, that's the thing. People will leave. And, like, people can just leave the party if they're unhappy, or they can get captured by cops. Like, if you get into a fight with the armed forces, like if you're wanted, and then you get into a fight, usually they're really hard to fight against the people who are the cops when they're after you. Mm-hmm. You can beat them, but they're tough. But if you decide to leave, there's a chance that they'll just capture one of your party members, and then you have to fight them to get them back.
That sucks.
Yeah. I had one of my starting characters just kind of disappeared, seemingly in a glitch. Because, like, if they capture your character, they're supposed to stay on the map, I think forever, or until you go back to them. But this character was just gone. Yeah, I don't know. It's fun. Like, it's weird. There's nothing individual for me to like gush about or write home about, but the whole package has just kind of captured my attention.
Yeah, it works for you.
And it doesn't require like, I think because there's no like actual narrative to pay attention to, it does. There's a level of like I don't have to be totally invested in what I'm doing. I can kind of be a bit more relaxed about the gameplay.
Right.
So I don't know. It's been fun. Like I would recommend it for anyone who likes these kind of tactical RPGs, and it's a fun game.
All right.
Fun enough game. Somehow has continually kept me away from starting Alan Wake. Every time I've turned on the Xbox many times to start Alan Wake and be like,
a few more minutes of
we'll play
WarTales.
this for a little bit.
Do I just need to
bits.
come over and boot up Alan Wake for you?
I don't know if it would work.
He said, "Wait, no, go back to the home
Then he would
screen
just-
real quick."
Then he would just play on his phone.
Yeah,
Ah.
that's true. Yes, that's pretty much all I've been playing, honestly.
I warned you this
outside
was
of
going to
Mario Party
happen.
3. I mean, I knew it was going to
I looked up the how long to beat, and it said like minimum 35 hours,
Oh my
maximum
God.
like 120. And I'm
Oh
like,
my goodness.
Seth, you're going to dump too much into this.
That's true.
I want you to look at your hours after you're
Oh,
done.
it's a lot of. I know it's a lot of time. I think I'm
He says, "I've been keeping
in the
track."
70s,
Oh my God.
and a lot of that is literally going back and forth from one place to another.
I know. I
Oh
watched
my
you play
God.
it, and I'm like, this is just a menu game.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's all of that engaging.
But it is. It's okay.
I think, but I do think weirdly, part of the, in some way, the tediousness of it is kind of engaging for me. Like, though, in the way that there's some stuff that just isn't. You can't just like open a menu and do something. Like you have to go to a specific location in the map, and your party runs. At
You
this
would
fixed-
love an MMO called World of Warcraft or literally any other MMO.
I don't know that that's true.
What's great is that some of the things that's working for him here, I'm pretty sure he did not like about Starfield. Which,
It's true.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I have thought of that. There is kind of direct correlations in certain stuff, and even the fact that like one of my initial impressions was comparing it to a different Bethesda game. In Skyrim.
In
But
Skyrim, yeah.
I think the important distinction is that Skyrim does work for me, and I could to this day create another character and do all the same stuff.
yeah.
And
Still have a blast.
engage in it. And I mean, clearly the Game Award voters agree with me about Starfield, so but we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Did we? The other thing I have played is Mario Party 3. I played it the other day with my nephew.
Yeah, we played that last week instead of
Yes,
recording an
yeah.
episode.
Yep.
And I just feel like we should talk
Stupid
about
game.
Forrest
Made
tried
me
to break
mad.
one of my Pro controllers.
Yeah.
I did, oh, that is an over freaking simplification. Oh my God.
I just thought we should take a minute to talk about the experience that we had playing there, because I think we had a lot of fun all around.
I think it was all a good time.
I mean, I won, so I had the most fun.
Yeah, he had the most fun taking away.
Yes, I also did the most damage
most
mentally and emotionally to Forrest.
Yeah, for no reason whatsoever. Like, so what was it? Like, you took a bunch of my coins away from me as I was about to buy a star.
What happened was Forrest was like 1 or 2 spaces away from being able to buy a star, and I so happened to have found an item that forced you into a game that made you bet all of your coins on a 50-50 chance of getting them back.
With no skill required for this.
Yeah, it's just like
guessing
flip a
No,
game.
coin.
it's
It is
Mario
straight up a
Party.
guessing game. Yeah,
It's
it's
a guess.
flip a coin. It is just good luck, loser.
Yep, and you got it wrong.
And I got it wrong and lost all of my coins.
He lost
Required-
like 45 coins.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was.
It was
livid.
like 40-something coins. And
But-
all I could do was laugh. And then...
But then what rubs salt on the wound truly is how useless that decision ended up becoming, because I got all the coins back
Yeah,
in another for
like a
another
minigame.
game, like immediately.
Yes.
So I still bought the freaking star that I was going to initially, but was just slightly delayed and infinitely more pissed off.
Yeah, it was a great moment for you. For
You
all
got
of
to
us.
experience the triumph and the downfall.
I have played Mario Party before.
I know,
I have
but
had this happen to me before. Like
But
every
it's
time I
fun.
play.
it's fun.
Ah,
Mario Party's great.
yeah,
It is fun.
a good time was had by
and
all.
if anyone got shafted the most, it was me. Who
I don't know. That
somehow-
Yoshi was pretty
Who
freaking
somehow
dumb.
had the most coins almost the whole time, and every time I got near the star, it just moved away. And so I just got screwed. I
Yeah.
was like, "There's nothing I can do here."
And I remember you were really counting on those bonus stars at the end. And then
Sad
one of
to
them came up
say.
me, and you were like, "What?"
Yeah,
You were incensed.
Great
Game, Mario
Great
Party.
game.
yeah. Honestly, can't recommend it enough to anyone that you truly love with all your heart. You should play Mario Party with them and screw them over in any way possible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
But
fun.
in a loving way.
yeah.
And don't the problem with this game is that people take it too serious.
Yes.
You
People.
should know. You should know going in what you're getting.
Yeah. And I think
Chill out.
I think it helps I think one of the things that helps in like the situation that I put you in is that when it is literally no skill, it's like it's hard to even be mad at the outcome.
Because it's silly.
Yeah.
Like you're put in a dumb situation.
Like it's
So in the moment, I was thinking more from like a game design perspective. Like why?
Yeah.
Like
It's
why should
separate.
me
It's
as a
terrible. It's
player be subjected to something like this and be
Yes.
punished for it?
yeah,
you know?
there's so many games that are literally just chance.
Yep. Good luck.
that you don't really even have any like there are some games that are chance, but you do have like an active component into
To being able
choosing stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's one game where a bunch of cards are flipped upside down. You have to pick a card. There's like 12 of them, and like 5 of them are good, 5 of them are bad, and 2 of them are ones that will randomize the order of the selection again. And at least in that, there is a sort of illusion of you have the ability to do something right, even though you don't actually know what any of the choices are going to be. But then there are ones that are just like, okay, there literally is. It's a coin flip no matter what I do here. So.
Yeah.
And there's so many games like that it's
And I kept getting
it's
those
ridiculous.
ones. Like looking back on it now, I got that same just guessing game, I think like 3 times. And every single time I lost it.
Yep.
It was great.
It was wonderful.
when I was playing with my nephew this past weekend, it got to a point where we were like, okay, we are a bit too annoyed by these games that we have no chance of winning. Because I also put the computers on a higher difficulty,
Oh my god.
which is, and so there were ones that we were just like, all right, I'm
We just can't
gonna
even
save state here and make sure you can choose the right thing, or make sure the computer chooses the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then I don't care as long as this person loses. And I think it improved the game.
Yeah.
Fun time. We had a fun time.
Yeah. I'd do it again.
Yeah.
I would too. I would like to play the Super Mario Party, like the remakes, more than the old ones.
I
Just
don't know.
because-
We'll have to next time. We'll have to do duel mode, in which it is a monster catcher, and you fight each other, and you have health points.
Yes.
A Monstie catcher.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
You love
We
it,
love
David.
monsties.
Did you play anything else besides Alan Wake 2
Yes.
Forest?
I played Jusant.
Oh yeah,
The
people
new
have been playing
Don't
that
Nod
game.
game?
Yep.
Question mark? Yeah.
The rock climbing game.
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. It's very beautiful. I like playing it, but like sometimes it's really weird to move around. Basically, when you're climbing, you are controlling each of your character's hands with the triggers, and sometimes it just does not want to read. So there
Cool.
were like I'm going to say a solid handful and a half of instances where I was pressing the triggers, like I had a really good motion going, and then out of nowhere, my character just kind of like freezes and starts like reaching, but like not reaching.
Maybe they're tired.
Or
climbing a mountain.
just so there is a stamina bar, and you can just rest like where you're in the middle of climbing up, and it will just refill the stamina. Like it's almost like no, what's the word I'm looking for? Like no risk. But yeah, sometimes the climbing just doesn't register, or like you're in the middle of like having a pretty solid flow going, and it just stops you. And I'm like, and you kind of just have to sit there and fumble for a few seconds until you get back on track.
Weird.
Yeah.
Very weird.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, it's not enough to make me like stop playing the game, but it's enough to get me kind of actively annoyed by it and be like, you know.
Yeah, come on, don't nod.
Yeah, and it's a very simple game so far. So the fact that even a mechanic as simple as climbing apparently can not be perfect. It's the only mecanic of the game so far.
Have you thought of getting good?
Oh yeah. I don't know.
Stuff.
I don't know if I told you this or if I was talking with you. I think it was the night that you and I were playing Halo. Allie came in and she was like, "Have you considered getting good?"
Yeah,
because we were getting like, or I was getting like mad at the game or whatever. I wasn't doing as good as I should.
I wasn't going to talk about this. That night,
He's about to bag on. He's about to.
No.
Her girlfriend.
No. I have been playing the new Call of Duty.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fantastic. Much better than Halo Infinite. Dear God, I hated. I actually, like, at the end of that Halo Infinite,
Really?
I was like bummed. I'm like, man, this makes me feel bad playing this. I like maybe the time to, and then I've been playing Call of Duty like for like a
Call of Duty
couple
is like
hours
an
every day.
instantaneous TK.
But it's not as, and this one is
it's a little more?
yes, so that's one of
Okay.
the things about this one is that they've increased the time to kill, and some people hate it. They can go play hardcore where it is instantaneous, and
I hate
this
hardcore
is
in
like
those
a good
games.
mix between what is Halo and what is like the newer Call of Duty where it's instantaneous.
Okay.
But man, very good game. I'm enjoying it. It's Call of Duty. It's the Modern Warfare 2 maps remastered.
Yeah, is it the TTK or is it the maps? Because
It's a little bit of both.
like if you were playing in the Modern Warfare 2 maps on Halo Infinite, would you think it was a much better game?
No. I don't like the... I think that I don't like what they've done with the weapons in Halo Infinite. I think that removing the old shotgun... Like, they changed too much of the stuff, and they've added too many weapons that I don't think are good.
If
in
they
my
would just
opinion.
bring back the simple plasma rifle, I think I would have almost no complaints with the
they would
weapons
only
at this
If
point.
they would bring back the card system, that would get me to play.
That would be interesting. I liked the card system. But I do have a genuine problem
five.
with...
Yeah.
I was so confused.
But what makes this Call of Duty good is that... A, the Modern Warfare 2 maps, and B, just genuinely the insanity of seeing Nicki Minaj run at you with a knife and kill you. Because,
Isn't Spawn in the game now,
yeah,
too?
there's the weirdest skins are in this game.
Yeah.
Like, there's Nicki Minaj, there's Spawn,
Oprah.
Skeletor.
What?
Yeah, I'm not joking. What Call of Duty has become a weird kind of Fortnite, and I don't want to hear from any Call of Duty person ever again how unserious Fortnite is when I get killed by Nicki Minaj,
And
who
it's
is
almost funnier when it's in the hyper realistic.
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Super brown.
yes. So yeah, there's that. To comparing the two, genuinely, like, the time to kill in Halo's too high, and for some reason it feels like there is the
I
at
wish
least,
I felt that same way.
there is at least the perception that the time to kill is very high for you to kill someone, but when someone is coming at you, it's almost instantaneous.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that disconnect is, especially because in Call of Duty, I'm getting shot at, my screen is turning red, and I'm usually at least either able to get to cover or I can start heading to cover and I know I died because I wasn't moving fast
Call of Duty
enough.
still has grenade indicators, right?
Yes, grenade indicators, you can throw back grenades, that whole deal.
We need that in Halo very badly, especially with the amount of grenade spam that is just constant and infinite.
I do think it is a mortal sin that this game is $70 though. It should not be $70.
Isn't it inside of Modern Warfare 2?
It is
Yes.
a re-engineering of
Long
Modern
story
Warfare
short,
2 because there was never going to be a Modern Warfare 3. It was just going to be dumping these skins as a big DLC. They decided...
And a campaign expansion, right? Or
and
something.
a campaign expansion, which they decided was big enough to necessitate a full release.
Which it really wasn't.
In my opinion, I don't think this would have happened under Microsoft's leadership, but because Bobby Kotick and Activision is still in charge, you get the $70 release of what was just going to be DLC.
Well, look, eventually it'll be on Game Pass.
And it proves how silly this is, because eventually in the future they are going to move the Modern Warfare 2 maps to Modern Warfare 3. Because it is just the same game that was meant to be all together.
So you can't currently play the Modern Warfare 2 maps in Modern Warfare 3, even though it is Modern
The
Warfare
SEO
2.
answer, stupidly, is of course you're playing Modern Warfare 2 maps in Modern Warfare 3. Just
Yes.
2009 Modern
Warfare 2.
Exactly.
That's
Yes.
funny.
Yeah, very bad SEO. Trust me, I tried to Google how to install Modern Warfare 3 because I was having issues. And
it is a
it is a
whole-
minefield.
Yes.
Because it's all the old stuff. So yeah, that was what I think. I want people to get this game to play it with me. I have a couple friends that have it. We've been playing. It's a good time. In my opinion, the zombies mode sucks really bad. But that's fine.
Because Treyarch is the only Call of
It's
Duty
Treyarch, the
studio
only
that
ones
made
can make-
good zombies.
Yeah.
We need to figure out a different name. We
Treyarch
got Modern Warfare.
or zombies.
We had Advanced Warfare. What's the next one? Postmodern Warfare?
I think we need to go to Civil
Prog
Warfare.
Warfare?
I was gonna
Civil
say medieval
Warfare.
warfare. Ooh, I would like Prague Warfare. Progressive post
Yeah.
Yeah.
hard warfare.
Yeah.
Corefare. Hardcore.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like Civil Warfare, I just feel like it'd be boring. Because, you know,
Says
it's like
you.
stand up, shoot.
No, you're thinking of revolutionary
Oh,
warfare.
you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe Guerrilla Warfare is the next one.
Ooh. Yeah.
Because that's an actual thing.
I
Yeah.
can't believe it. Why is Nicki Minaj a skin? It's still, and like, it's not
He's
like
still there.
It's because it's not like cartoony like Ariana Grande in Fortnite or something.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it is a
Photorealistic.
hyper-realistic Nicki
Like she
Minaj
was scanned in.
running at you with a gun, and it's like, oh god,
It's kind of horrifying.
it is. And
Does any of her music play?
No.
Ah.
But God, we're running an hour on what we've played. I did spend $35 in Rocket League to have the Lightning McQueen skin.
Ka-chow!
And every time I score on someone, it yells "Ka-chow," and then "Life is a Highway" starts playing.
I have
and there's
seen it.
nothing
That
more
would make
perfect
me,
in the
that would
world.
make me quit out of the game.
Just uninstall
Not
the game.
not even quit the match. Like exit the game
like
entirely.
close the game.
Maybe turn off the console.
I love it because I score. It goes "Ka-chow" near.
Yeah, that's just like that's such the biggest like knife twist.
And so what's great, they haven't done this with any other Rocket League skin, but Lightning McQueen reacts to stuff because he's Lightning freaking McQueen.
He is a living being.
His eyes move around and follow the ball like it's awesome. It is amazing. I need more Cars things in Rocket League, or just even games that I'm playing. Give me Lightning McQueen skins in Forza. Give me Lightning McQueen skins in Halo. I don't care.
Give me a Cars World in Kingdom Hearts.
I would love to see Sora as a car.
Does he become a car, or does he ride inside of Lightning McQueen?
That'd be a summon.
That's a summon. Yeah, he'd be a summon.
Yeah.
But he would become a car.
How would he swing the Keyblade?
You know,
in his
happen.
teeth, like he did in the Pride Lands when he was a little lion cub.
Yeah, he was a lion cub. He didn't like stand up as a cat and swing the Keyblade.
Yeah.
He uses teeth.
Does Lightning McQueen have teeth?
Yeah.
He's got a mouth.
Look at his mouth.
He talks.
I've got Lightning McQueen right here. He speaks Japanese. He's still going. But yeah. Now, this Lightning McQueen is inaccurate.
I guess he could be a different car also.
Because his headlights are really there. And we all know that because Lightning McQueen is a race car, his headlights are just stickers.
Yeah.
So this, I mean, it's a toy from Disney, but it's not accurate. That's fine.
It's not screen accurate.
Not screen accurate.
So in the world of cars, is Lightning McQueen a different race?
Good question. We don't need to go down this road because I've gone down it.
Because there definitely are cars that have headlights.
Yes.
In cars.
Yes.
He'd be a different.
Is he like
a different like?
No, like have they been?
How do ethnicities with cars
genetically work? Engineered to be racing animals?
Does Henry Ford still exist?
The
Cars world as a human?
It's very weird because what do you consider a different race? Because there's like different types of cars.
We got the Indy 500.
There's like there's sports cars. There's like Luigi, and they've got the little arms.
And I mean, if you go into the greater cars world, there's also other vehicles. You know, it's hard to say, but this is a genetic difference. Yes, it's like a genetic difference.
Yeah.
How do eugenics work in the cars world?
That's what I'm getting at. I think
there's something at play there.
The race cars are they are like lifted up as celebrities, but it's more like they're like in a Hunger Games type thing where they're being used as amusement for the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. That's possible. But Cars 3 kind of gets into that. So there you go.
Gladiators. You know, they were like slaves and they.
And I'm not even joking that
kind of death sport.
I'm not even joking that Cars 3 kind of gets into that.
Yeah.
So
that's not the spy one, right?
No. Cars 2, that movie is very bad, but that's also
canon.
It's a Mater movie, not a Lightning McQueen movie. They ignore it completely in Cars 3. They don't.
Doesn't Lightning die at the beginning of Cars 3?
No, he does not.
That's a shame.
But he does get close.
I agree. That is a shame.
He's great.
As an avid Cars hater, I wished he died at the beginning of 3.
I do think that, I guess if Sora was a tow truck, he could hold the Keyblade in his hook, swing it around.
I think it's unfair to consider Sora turning into a Mater-like tow truck.
Yeah.
Sora would be obviously a race car.
Yeah, but then how's he going to hold the Keyblade?
Goofy would be...
No, Sora would be a dune buggy.
Ooh, that would be good.
Do those exist in Cars World? Have there been any?
They should.
I haven't seen any.
Donald would be a helicopter.
Now, that does technically exist in the Cars universe because of the movie Planes.
Right.
Which is a Walt Disney Animation Group movie, not a Pixar movie. But it's in the same universe.
Right.
Donald would be the plane.
What would Goofy be?
Goofy would be the tow truck. Easy.
I mean, he's got to be something big because he's a shield guy.
No,
he'd be a fire engine.
No, he's like the plow truck thing. Well, like it's a shield that's on front.
Yeah. He's like there's tractors. He would be like a... Yeah, he would have the scoop front. Yeah. Or he would be a VW
Sora
bus.
Yeah.
is a scooter.
I was going to make a joke before that he'd be like a Vespa or something.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I'm here for this. You don't understand. I love those movies, except for 2. The shorts are also very good.
Yeah.
But yeah. Cars Corner.
Do we want to extend movie corner a quick second?
To what?
I mean, we've all watched a movie. Hey, hold on. I have a bit here. We've all watched a movie from a beloved video game horror franchise.
True.
Resident Evil Death Island.
No, I didn't know that came out.
It did.
I've been tempted to watch it. I've seen it. Like
it's not bad.
It's right there on my Netflix.
It is a Resident Evil. Just through and through.
It looks ridiculous.
Yes.
The CGI looks awful, but in kind of a good way.
Yes, and it's so weird because they're using like some of the models from like for Jill from like Resi 3 remake. Like
that is weird.
Like so she looks like great, and everyone else looks off. Like they're still in like the empty frameworks models from before the RE engine was a thing.
Is Ethan Winters in it?
No.
All right, it's gonna be a pass.
But yeah, we all saw Five Nights at Freddy's. I've seen it twice now, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah, I saw it with Billy before he moved, and then saw it with Allie the other night.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you've seen it 3 times?
No. That was twice.
Didn't you see it with us?
No.
No, he couldn't remember.
Yeah.
We picked the time, and then he couldn't go. And then we went.
My plans went awry that night. Unfortunately.
That's right. It was
just like
us.
Mike Schmidt's plans when he went into that old pizzeria.
Yeah.
I ended up watching like 4 hours of Five Nights at Freddy's lore videos after seeing that movie. So,
Really?
yeah.
Have you seen the latest Mad Pat video about it, where he talks about how the lore connects to all of how it comes from all the different pieces of Freddy's media?
No, I need to.
And he uses it to speculate on what the sequel will be. Yep.
So this movie is in continuity with the games? No.
It picks different parts from the continuity
and
of
matches
the
it
game
together.
And books.
Okay.
Because you know that Scott Cawthon wrote books.
Yes. This is a multimedia
Yes.
franchise.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
May I read them?
It was a fun.
No.
It was a weird movie, but pretty fun.
Yeah, I
A
enjoyed
lot
it.
less
Yeah,
like
it was
being
fine.
scared by the animatronics than you would expect.
I love that they used actual animatronics.
Yeah, they were cool.
That
looking.
was so great.
and they looked
Kind of goofy sometimes.
yeah
Because of the eyes.
It was a weird like uncanny valley thing for me where they looked there's this weird thing when digital representations they get into this area where they look so close to real life that it feels wrong.
Yeah.
I feel like these real life interpretations got so
close
to
to
looking
looking
digital
yeah.
that it was like there's
Yeah.
something
off here.
off-putting about this.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look
But
like they
which
were
was
digitally
cool.
touched up or anything
Yeah,
either.
they were the most impressive part of the movie was the
Yes,
animatronics
yes.
that they made.
I really liked the kill where the girl gets into the mouth. That
reaches
was
her hand up into the mouth. I
rough.
don't know what you think is going to happen, and then
Yep.
sucked in,
warmer.
cleaved down the middle by Freddy's mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And she's probably, she did a bad thing, but I still felt bad for her. Out of all the people that got killed,
Yeah.
I felt kind of
I screwed the other guys.
that shit,
but
that in that manner too. Just getting chopped in half.
Yeah. Kind of a brutal movie, but also it has to shy away from it a little bit.
but
'cause
weirdly, like
kids are going to be watching this.
it has these moments of like kind of gnarly kills.
Yeah.
But then it's so weird the level of that compared to the level of just kind of
The rest of the movie.
weirdness that is happening out in the rest of the movie that doesn't really involve the robots being evil and trying to kill you.
Right.
Very strange.
Yeah.
And all their killing happens in the daytime.
Not even
Let's
as
just throw that
true.
out there.
Yeah.
It was fun though. I'll definitely watch the sequel when it comes out.
What's your favorite bunny? Or what's your favorite
Robot,
animatronic.
I mean, I only have a passing knowledge of all of them from all of the games, but
from this movie?
from the movie, I think Foxy.
Foxy gets the
is
most to.
He gets the most to do. That's because he has the most.
He's got speed.
He's got the most typically scary silhouette.
Yeah.
Like, he's long and and slender, and he's
Got
got a
a
big
hook
hook hand.
hand.
And so it just kind of lends himself
He's
toward
got an eye
killing
patch.
people. Yeah. And he's got a lot more sharp angles than all of the others do. So it makes sense
from a
that
design standpoint.
he's the one that is the scary one.
Yeah.
But I think I did like the scene where he's running really fast at you, because that was a thing that was a thing he did in the first game.
Yeah.
My favorite's the cupcake.
Yeah,
That's
is
fair.
weird.
I really like Chica, just because I like the word Chica, and also I just think the little chicken robot looks funny.
They all look funny.
It has more teeth.
Yeah.
Like the others.
Get those teeth out of that beak,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
We don't need a teeth beak.
Yeah.
Shout
get
out to
those teeth
Jim
out of the
Henson.
beak.
Or the
Yes.
Jim Henson.
Yeah, they did it.
They
Great
did
job.
those
They did a great
animatronics.
job.
I didn't notice that until I watched it in the theaters with Allie, because she pointed it out, and I was like, "Holy crap!" I love that for them. Shout out to the Jim Henson company.
And I think it's cool that they went to them, because I feel like a different like studio in charge of making this will treat it as just like it's just another video game IP.
Yeah, or or just make it
wouldn't.
all CG or something.
Right. Then they wouldn't put the care into being like, oh, let's go to these people who are renowned for making puppets
Literally,
to get them to make these puppets.
Almost the progenitors of puppets
So I think-
in film.
I think they're the most impressive thing, and I think the best choice that the production made was to have actual physical things.
Yeah.
Because that also allows actors to actually be in the space and interact with them. For the amount that they do. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
It was a fun time.
My only other note is that the guy, Peter Malark, was acting in a different movie than everyone else. He was really trying to sell the movie.
He was trying to sell
act it,
so hard.
and the rest of the people were in a B movie, and he was playing it for an Oscar.
A's. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Matthew
go
Loder
for
was
him.
good in it.
Yeah, he was great.
In his small performance, he was great.
Man,
Yeah.
there's some good foreshadowing in the movie, and specifically with the first scene that Matthew Lillard's character is in.
Yeah.
Oh man, he sees the name on the file immediately.
Yeah.
He's like, oh crap.
But you don't know why
Yeah,
until the end. Yeah,
It's wonderful.
It was fun to watch. It's on Peacock.
Yeah.
If you
Another-
gotta watch it.
Another video game thing on Peacock that I watched, I finished Twisted Metal.
yeah.
That show is really good. It's fun and dumb.
Joe is pumping his fist in the air.
Everyone
right now.
should watch it. The episodes are maybe 20 minutes long most of the time.
Oh shoot! Really?
Yeah, you could watch all of it.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, it is stupid how short most of that show is. But yeah, actually very good. Jason Mantzoukas is great in the 2 episodes he's in. Yeah,
Naturally.
he is Preacher from Twisted
Now,
Metal.
will another competing company make a Vigilante 8 show to try and get on the craze?
No, but that would be great. But all right, we're going to take a break and then be back with some news and mostly Game Awards stuff because
So get ready,
we've
Jeff.
been running long.
Yippee!
We're coming for you, Keeley.
Hi, Big Joe here, and I'm here to tell you to check out Suplex the Sticks on all social media platforms at Suplex the Sticks. Links for the socials and the invite to our Discord are in the show notes below. Subscribe and review the show on your favorite podcatcher, and while you're at it, let your friends know about the podcast. It's the best way to help us grow our community. And with that, back to the show.
And we're back. All right, let's get to some news that is good. Bad, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe even
ugly.
ugly. Dang it!
I got
Nintendo
it.
and Sony are teaming up to make a Legend of Zelda live-action movie.
Now, this isn't Sony Gaming.
Right.
What if it was?
Well, we're
They
not
do
gonna
know those people who made The Last of Us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a quick what about complaint here. Why didn't they just get Sony Animation for this
'Cause they
after
wanted to be
their
live action.
successes with?
They wanted to be live
They
action.
want it to be different than the Mario movie, I would bet. They don't want to.
Yeah, that's why you get Sony Animation in the studio who did Spider-Verse.
I mean, that would be
Like,
wild. But
you
they're
know?
working on their own movie.
Yeah.
They got another Spider-Verse that they have to put out.
Yeah, I know. Just
Soon.
like, just
Maybe
yeah.
when, maybe like, they'll do Majora's Mask that way.
I don't know, man. I have little faith that this will even happen. But I guess it's been in the works for years.
I feel like the fact that they've been public about it makes it a bit different.
Yeah.
That's fair.
They're not ones in general to talk about stuff like this. Even when stuff is like known behind the scenes, they refuse to engage.
The
in
moment they talk
speculation.
about it out loud. Now, I
They
say this is
usually
years
follow
off.
through.
So,
Yeah.
who knows? It's
It's
probably
interesting. I remember there was a while back. There was all the speculation that they were working with like HBO or something to make a show, and then when it got out, they decided to cancel the plans. I remember thinking about it back then, like how they would make Link work. I've come to the conclusion that they probably just have to make him talk, but I think it would be more interesting. Maybe not in terms of a movie, but I think it would be more interesting if he does not talk in the movie. That would probably be easier to do with a TV show, but
I mean, okay, hear me out. You could kind of do like a Western or like a Mandalorian spin on the idea of Link as a character. Like, still have him be like the driving force in a story, but also not really have much to say.
Right.
Because a lot of what he's saying is actually just him doing things, like his action.
It would be kind of representative of his character. I mean, he's kind of a tool that is used to...
Yeah, he is a tool.
And there are other people around him who are giving the player the information about why all this stuff is happening.
Yeah.
Rather than... so I don't know. Like, he's going to talk in the movie. It's just kind of a thing that...
He's going to be he's going to be played by Chris Pratt.
No, it'll be played by someone else, but voiced by Chris Pratt.
He'll be played by Chris Pine.
Yeah, overdubbed Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's hard to know what the quality of this is going to be.
Yeah, that's my problem. It has to be, in my opinion, it would have to be the Breath of the Wild storyline. Like, that's probably the one that makes the most sense. Maybe
but
Ocarina
it's a sparse,
of Time.
it's a sparse storyline for them to do, unless they wanted to do it like Green Knight style, where the majority of the movie is just him walking through Hyrule and you with these huge shots of wide open space.
I would
love that. That would be great.
I would be so there for that.
It would be him waking up and then going on the journey and visiting the locations and bringing up the past. I think there's a lot of story that you could do there.
I think what is more likely, so instead of the Green Knight angle, is that it's probably just going to be Lord of the Rings angle.
Yeah.
You know, like that seems the most like
big cast of characters.
Then we get a big
We got a Goron.
Avengers Endgame moment where Link is fighting the Guardians.
I think it is going to be an original story, just sort of like a generalized version of Link has to defeat Ganon to save the world, and he helps people along the way. And
the Goron says on your left, and he comes up from...
Yeah, he rolls
in. Yeah.
Out of a hole in the ground.
Or from a volcano off in the background.
A Rito flies by.
Yeah.
He was the one. It would be Cass. He flies by with his accordion.
Mm-hmm.
Starts playing the Avengers theme.
Oh, God. And all this would happen while in slow motion, Link and Prince Sidon kiss. That's what...
Oh, passionately.
It has to be what happens. But yeah. You know...
They're just friends.
That's what they all say. But yeah.
I think it would be cooler if they did weirder stuff in this, but I know that they won't.
Right. It's going to be boring.
And it's too bad because there is a lot of weird stuff in Zelda that would be really striking put on screen.
You know,
Imagine
you're not.
a Majora's Mask movie would be nuts.
Yeah, it would be
terrifying.
actively insane. But I just don't think that's what's going to happen.
I think I would almost prefer like a Star Wars Visions style, just anthology series of
that would be
show me a
cool.
bunch of different people's like 10-minute takes on Zelda. You
Okay,
know,
what about this? I just thought of this. So, it's in the real world. We have just an ordinary Joe is going about his day, and finds out that we know that an asteroid is about to hit. This great cataclysmic event is going to hit the Earth, and like everyone's freaking out. It eventually, like, saying goodbye to loved ones, people are trying to do what they can do. We find out that all the government's plans have failed. And so we get this poignant moment of him.
yeah, I've
like,
seen Don't Look Up.
Yeah, like the end of Don't Look Up. But then he dies, wakes up the next day. It's like he walking like, what's going on? And there's this guy. You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? And it's like a reverse isekai of Link
God.
in the real world in this guy.
No.
Shut up.
And there's this big meteor coming, and he's got to figure it out. This is what a different movie studio would do with this property. It would not be a video game. It would take place in the real world.
Right.
I think it could work. It would be cool. It should be a
What
TV
it-
show. I should pitch this to someone.
You're like talking about the A24 version of this.
No, that's the Green Knight. That's the
Yeah.
Green Knight
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 movie.
But look, I'm saying
God,
this would be fun to watch. It's a time loop movie, which are always good. Name a bad
that
one.
is true. I can't think of a bad one yet.
It's just sort of it's changing what Link's who Link is and kind of what his nature to the story is.
What if it's actually a fierce deity origin movie?
That'd also be cool.
Could be.
Yeah.
He becomes the fierce deity at the end.
Like it's his like super power up at the end of the movie, you know?
Yeah.
The question is, what would the giants be? Would they just be giants? They rise up to stop the meteor.
Gosh, I forgot that game.
It's a great game.
I beat it once, and that's because I didn't like it that much. And I'm sorry.
You never saw I guess you probably never got to see Cafe and Anju get married. That's why you don't like it.
Listen, I tried.
That is the most emotionally resonant part of that game.
I
In
beat
all of
it.
Zelda.
I beat it on the 3DS, and that was it. That was good. I never could beat it on the
saying all of
N64.
Zelda. You know, Prince Adon still exists.
Yeah, but there's so much work goes into it. You learn about these characters from all these different angles. You come to visit them at different points in time, like relative to where they are and where the world is going to end. I just think I just think it's neat.
I think it's neat for you too.
So did you get the fierce deity mask?
I don't think so. I can't remember.
Probably not.
Like I said, I played that thing and beat it on the 3DS, and I yeeted everything in my brain out of it
That's fair.
because I didn't like it that much. I wanted to. Everyone, like, this is a bunch of my friends' favorite Zelda game, and I don't get it.
What about the moments when Link put on the mask and had a horrible scream as the spirit of someone else's dead body
Took
possessed
over
them?
him.
It's no Oracle of Seasons or Oracle of Ages, so
Really, what could be, you know?
you know.
Yeah.
And it definitely is no Link Between Worlds.
I was about to
so-
say, brother.
which is, I mean, maybe better than Breath of the Wild in some aspects.
Yeah,
That game is
good
nearly
game.
perfect.
Put that. Nintendo remaking all these games. I wish that could be on Switch. That would be so
Yeah,
fun.
man.
I'd love to play through that game again.
Yeah. I desperately need to play it again. I love that game.
It's a great game.
Golly. Yeah. So there's so much news. Roller Drome is releasing on November 28th on Game Pass.
Nice.
Pretty
But-
cool.
Cool.
Vampire Survivors is getting a free 1.8 update where they're going to add a bunch of stuff and a small story mode to explain the lore of the game.
Yo.
Which I kind of wish they weren't doing.
Yeah,
I
it's
wanted
kind of
to-
more fun being weird.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Not
don't have
understanding.
to
That's true. You don't have to
partake in it.
Lies of P is getting updated to make the game easier.
Isn't this the second time they've done it?
Yes, and all of you are cowards. The game is great. This should just play
This
it
is
while
like
it's hard.
pre and post patch Elden Ring.
No, this is worse because this
Oh, yeah, because that patch made Elden Ring less fun to play.
because it
it-
nerfed stuff.
Yeah.
This is only making things better. Like this is
It's
making
nerfing enemies.
it's making enemies slower and the weapons do more damage. So it is making the game inherently easier.
Yeah.
It's not like nerfing weapons that people overused and making the game harder.
Yeah.
It is only accessibility
Which,
changes.
FromSoft, you don't want to overuse it. Don't make the weapon so good and so fun to use.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not my fault that the Sword of Nine Flame is the funnest thing in the world. I'm sorry.
It's no blasphemous blade.
I can
it's
just-
all about that ice axe.
I
that
can
big
just-
ice stomp just freeze everyone.
I could
Whale
just
Rude
Kamehameha
move.
forever.
loved that move.
Kamehameha forever and then hit with a flame circle, which is great.
Nah, dude, the
amazing.
dragon breath. Ooh.
That was weak. That game. That
Dude,
move
nah,
sucked.
you didn't know how to use it, dude. My
That
build,
move sucked.
dude. Ooh, brother.
Capcom has a major unannounced title
Mm.
that is going to release by March of 2024.
Mega Man.
Is it
Mega
It's not
Man.
Mega Man. I'm sorry.
I know.
But is it Resident Evil or Monster
It's a
Hunter?
new Strider game.
It's.
That's something.
Thank you.
There's something there.
I'm assuming it'll be announced at the Game Awards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I would have to guess that it's Resident Evil.
What if it's a Dino Crisis remake?
that would be
Finally.
cool, too.
What if it's Resident Evil 9?
I could take a break from
Wow.
Resident Evil for a little bit. You know?
No.
What about Resident Evil, but does the virus turns people into dinosaurs?
yes.
I'm there.
The D virus.
Eat Art's lunch.
Look, they in Village, they show that people can turn into basically anything based
Yeah.
on what you put inside them. So why not
Yeah.
dino people?
Listen, they'll have the D virus, and it'll
And the
turn
D
people.
detector, the D terminal,
Yeah.
all
No.
types of Digivice.
Turn people
God.
into dinosaurs. And then we get Dino
Maybe
Crisis.
Capcom's making a major Digimon game, and no one knows.
God,
Be wild.
that'd be something.
I really don't know what it could be.
Monster Hunter.
Don't.
Oh, the face you just made.
I would love
Pure
that
ecstasy.
That would be quite a game.
game. That would be insane. That's how you get me to play Monster Hunter. It's to make a Digimon.
Yeah. So,
This,
It's so easy how good a game can be if you just re-flavor the aesthetic of it.
yeah, honestly.
yeah. Let's talk about the Game Awards nominations.
Sure.
Let's.
Because
So,
they came out. It's always a big day in gaming
Jeff,
news.
someone. So I subscribe to Aftermath.site.
Okay.
There's two websites that have sort of spun up in the ashes of Kotaku and Motherboard and other sites that have now shelved. Aftermath is a lot of the old Kotaku people, Luke Plunkett, Gita Jackson, a couple of them, and Remap, which is all of the Waypoint people. So they're both great, and they're doing a they're doing Defector-esque, like Defector is the Deadspin moved off and did their own thing. So they're doing their own thing now too. And there was a great article about how Jeff Cayley already looks tired, like in the announcement of these games. He already looks exhausted.
I think that isn't because of the work. I think that is because of how serious he thinks the work is. and how unserious he feels that other people think the work is.
Yes, I understand.
Or how much unnecessary work he's
Yeah.
putting into those.
No, I'm saying to him, all of his work is necessary because he wants to make this the shining bastion of the video games industry for everyone to see.
Yes.
Whereas everyone else is like, it's all right.
So let's talk about the 6 games nominated for Game of the Year.
Yep.
We have Alan Wake 2.
Sure.
Seems a little soon, but it's fine. It
We've
fit the
had this
window.
happen before.
Marvel Spider-Man 2.
Belongs for sure.
Super
Again.
Mario Brothers Wonder. Great game. Resident Evil 4. ? Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate 3. I've actually played 5 out of 6 of these.
Yeah.
It was great. I will get to play Baldur's Gate 3 one day. It's coming to the Xbox in December, according to them. I have a theory about that in a moment. But great list. My only question mark is Resident Evil 4.
I think Resident Evil 4 is a fair inclusion based on the amount of work that was done for it to that can kind of qualify it as a new game. Like there is no hard and fast rule against remakes.
Yeah, but also I don't know. I feel like the Dead Space remake was a little bit more impressive in that sphere of things of remaking stuff.
Sure.
But then there are other games this year that I think are more interesting as picks.
I agree.
And were overall just a breath of newness into the industry, which a lot of these other games kind of are. Or not to say that Resident Evil 4 Remake isn't an extremely solid game, but I don't know if it stands above any of these other games that are all new things.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. It's weird. I feel we do tend to act like this is a list developed by robots or something, but it is always it's writers who are pulled to form the nominations for these.
Right.
And clearly, none of them played Hi-Fi Rush enough.
But I think it's a weird category in that it does kind of get down to best AAA game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, very rarely is there anything
unless they're supremely, incredibly breakthrough things like Hades was.
Yeah.
Or something that you're best friends with Jeff, like Joseph Fares and his It Takes Two game.
Yeah.
Just saying that the only reason that was up
I mean,
there.
It Takes Two did something unique. I mean, unique, sort of. It was something that he had done before in other games, but it was a unique experience. And I think that I'm not mad with that having won. But yeah, it is. I don't know. We make big deals about talking about these nominations. But
they are silly.
But generally,
I want everyone to know.
Everything that you would expect to be in certain categories always show up. Which is why it's interesting that Starfield is not on the Game of the Year.
I laughed where I did see it in.
Right, we'll get to
We'll
that.
get there, yeah.
I'm just confused that Lies of P or Starfield is not where Resident Evil 4 is.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I don't think that Resident Evil 4 doesn't deserve recognition. But I do think that it is the same game. Almost, it is nothing changed except for graphical fidelity. It plays the same. It's the same mechanics. It's the same puzzles, everything.
Plot, scenario.
So what's the stuff? So
Was Resident Evil 2 Remake not nominated?
I don't remember.
Oh, that would be a little hard. What? someone would have to vamp while
I think that was like 2019.
What year did that come out?
Because I think
that was the first year that I was on
Forced
on the
at puberty,
podcast.
on his
Yeah,
birthday.
sorry, thank you. I needed a little bit of a burping there. It was either 2019 or 2020.
That
2019, I
game
think.
came out 2019.
Yeah, it was the first year I was on the podcast.
2319.
That was, I think, my game of the year for that year.
2019.
But I don't remember if
I
if
don't
it
know
was
if
on
it was
any,
nominated, but I would.
for this at
It
least.
seems like a thing that would have been nominated.
It was also nominated for Game of the Year.
Okay.
And I don't think it would have been as controversial because again, it did change things by going to the first person and was kind of a revelation, and was seemingly a more breakout hit than even 4 was when it came out. But I don't know. I'm not really surprised because when 4 came out, everyone raved about it.
Sekiro won Game of the Year that year.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
It should have been
that.
Control. But that's
I don't agree.
but go ahead.
Listen,
But, like,
Remedy will get it this year.
I don't know. There are other things that could be put in place of this, but I'm sort of I'm not surprised that Starfield isn't on here because, as I've said, I don't think it's all that great.
Yeah.
It's definitely not quality wise in anywhere near my personal game of the year.
I'm kind of surprised
And
that
I think-
Final Fantasy 16 isn't in the place ever. I know you don't agree with that. But
I am actually mad where this game did get nominated.
Yeah.
yeah.
There
That's
is
funny.
one point where I'm not happy, and we'll get there.
And Lies of P is also interesting. I just don't think it was big enough, which is weird because it was
A lot
a
of
huge
people
breakout
loved it.
hit when it came out. But I also don't know that kind of breakout was sort of relative to its expectations versus like comparative to other huge games. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
Oddly enough, very little Diablo 4 in this
Yeah.
also.
This is a comparison
I
that
did notice that.
not everyone will. So it reminds me of like college football or college sports in
yeah.
general. How before a season even starts, a top 25 will be put out, and people will be like, "These are who I think are the best teams," and then that affects throughout the whole season. That will affect the way that teams move up and down. So like if you, so like people will, if a team is ranked number 5 and then loses, they'll only drop down a couple spots. But if a team is, unranked and wins, it takes a lot more for them to
get into.
rise, to get into that pack of people. And really those are just based on sort of assumptions. And so I think there is probably some of that in that people go into maybe not a whole year, but into like certain video game, like into certain times when video games are coming out with already knowing, okay, this is going to be good, this is going to be good. And so I think that does sort of tint the way people will look back on like a catalog of games that have come out. Like there are the games that you were anticipating and were good. And I think those are easier to stay in your mind versus some of those that surprised you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can give that.
We see it every year with these. Every once in a while there will be unexpected things on the Game of the Year list. But generally it's always going to be kind of
I feel like this one was
the usual
really
suspects.
predictable.
Yeah.
Even though
absolutely.
it's a murderer's row of games. Like they're all like killers. But I don't know. I would have rather seen. There's always one game, and you know what? No, I push back against you saying that Lies of P wasn't big enough, because Stray was nominated last year.
Oh my god!
This is true.
There's really no rhyme or reason to what big is when it comes to the Game of the Year, because it's like
I would say
in
at
my
least
opinion, there's no reason Stray should have been. And even then, do you think that Lies of P? I know you love Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but do you think Lies of P was bigger than that? Because Xenoblade Chronicles 3 is locked to one system, and it's a niche
That's
RPG.
tough.
Like,
I think it was pushed a lot more by Nintendo than
okay,
Lies
it
of P
was right.
Yeah.
And I also think the fact that it is only on Nintendo provides it a bigger podium than stuff that is releasing multiplayer.
Yeah, there's 3 games released last year that I think that, or 3 games on the list last year that I think Lies of P is bigger than. Because also Plague Tale Requiem was a Game of the Year contender, and I haven't.
Well, but I think that
I thought that game-
I think that can speak more about the
I forgot that game came out
The
last
strength.
year.
It's the strength of the year
of the
too.
year.
Yeah, this
if,
year
if
is
half
crazy.
of them are half of the games on the list are coming from good games, but from smaller.
I like playing Metroid Prime more than playing Resident Evil 4,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that came
Yeah,
out.
where's that?
And it's a better game.
And
Where's
it's
that
a
for Game of the
remaster.
Year?
And it's a remaster. So what?
Yeah, again, that's a weird one. I think that probably suffers from there being 2 other Nintendo titles on here
Yeah.
Sure.
that have
sure.
released more recently.
And then because I'm looking at what I beat this year, Crisis Core,
Woo.
which I don't think that should be necessarily Game of the Year, but it does not get any nominations here. Just
I don't
fine.
have any problems with that.
And Jedi Survivor, which I know.
That was one that in any other year that would be in the Game of the Year.
Right.
I don't know, because Fallen Order also got shafted.
Oh yeah, Fallen Order got
That's
majorly shafted.
Yeah.
So maybe not then.
Like that's the thing. Like, there is something here. Granted, this year has been insane. It's going to go down in history as like one of the best years in
This
gaming
was an extremely good
ever.
year.
A lot of heavy hitters coming out this year.
Right. I more so need to talk to my friends about how frustrated I am that Final Fantasy 16 is nominated for Best Score in Music when it has some of the most god-awful music I've ever heard in a video game.
So
Every boss
wrong.
fight where some shitty dubstep blasted out of nowhere while I'm fighting a boss. Terrible. It is forest.
I mean,
Bad.
I haven't played any more of that game,
Look,
so I'm,
yeah.
I'm still at the
In 100
halfway
years,
point.
Dubstep will be thought of as classical music.
Oh, shut up.
I don't...
Uh,
I have such a love-hate relationship with this game.
yeah.
And Final Fantasy 16 was nominated for Best RPG. That game is not an RPG.
No,
it
straight
is
up
a
action
casual action game. And I'm not saying casual with spite
Yeah.
towards the people that enjoy the game,
Just
Chris.
in the amount of complexity.
But in the amount of complexity and Final Fantasy wise, it is not an RPG.
Yeah. Again, but I mean, that's a game that is in that category entirely because of its name.
Right.
So, but I think you could still put it in action game, but I think I would bet that people at Square Enix would be upset if it wasn't in the best RPG category.
Yeah.
Sure. I would like to know. I'm talking about the controversial picks in here because going through all of them is too much. Why is Cyberpunk 2077 considered an ongoing game?
I have no clue.
Well, because it was broken, and so they had to release a constant slew of
I mean, I
updates.
guess that's
Sure.
It's not really the
but
same.
the rest of this category
So
has
here's
always
the
been like
problem.
multiplayer.
Yeah,
games.
Hold
and
on.
stuff.
You're not wrong, but they did this crap with No Man's Sky too. No Man's Sky
That-
won Best Ongoing Game.
Yes,
When they
that's a
were
multiplayer
really.
game too, isn't it?
It was no.
Loosely.
Loosely, okay.
It
You stumble into
became
people?
one.
Yeah. it
Okay.
It
wasn't
became one well after.
I see.
But they won Best Ongoing Game at a certain point because they had to keep releasing
The massive,
DLCs.
yeah, and
Yeah,
But-
but
massive
with
improvements
No
to the
Man's
game.
Sky, there is like it shipped underdeveloped, but it has since gone on to be what a lot of people say is a really incredible.
Yeah, like the
experience.
definitive like space experience.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad with that happening. It is, but it is sort of the flip, the other side of the coin with Cyberpunk, which is
because they're only going to
Right.
have this DLC.
Right. It's
they're
only,
not making
it's
more
only ongoing because what they shipped was
this year. Yeah.
was not up to par with what it needed to be, and so they had to continually fix and add new stuff to it.
I would like to talk a little bit more about this category. Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. Okay. What has Apex and Genshin Impact done at all this year? Or Final Fantasy 4... Okay, no, 14 had a new expansion. But, like, Genshin Impact and Apex just, like... What have they actually done that has been major news to be considered in, like... To be considered in this category?
Well, I don't know if...
You know?
If
like, I've not heard...
things have to keep happening.
Or
like,
is it just release a character every season that doesn't
that's
do
essentially
like
what it is.
So I would argue, I understand what he's saying here. I would argue I don't like where it's gone, but Halo Infinite has been going out of their way to try to build out the ongoingness of their game.
I'm going to be honest, this is where I was going with this.
It should be at least in Genshin Impact.
Get that or Apex out of here. Put Halo Infinite in there. I don't care if it doesn't even get a vote. Just like some other games that are a little more deserving of like, hey, a lot of effort is being put into these games.
I think
to continue through each year. As of today, we hit 2 years of Halo Infinite. It is a recognizably
Apex
different game.
Apex is doing like what early Fortnite was doing. And a level of ongoingness, in that, each season there's map changes, there's new characters, there's new weapons.
But none of it is big news anymore,
right? But
I feel.
But I don't think it needs to be.
I don't think it needs to be big news
because of the quality of the game that they are continuing to put out.
I'm with you on Genshin. I'm not with you on Apex.
But I don't even. You can't make that argument for Genshin when they're always putting out new stuff. Always putting out new zones and expansions and new characters and stuff. It's a weird line, and I think that
I hate to say it. It's
easy to nitpick.
Genshin is going to get in there because of how much money they spend to advertise for the Game Awards.
Yeah.
But we can all agree that Cyberpunk should not be on this list.
Absolutely.
There's nothing really ongoing about that game. It does not change over time outside of going from not a game to a game.
So what is up with best independent game and also best debut indie game?
What's the discourse here?
So
controversy.
The quote unquote controversy is over the use of the word independent.
Especially when a game like Annapurna, a studio like Annapurna.
No, not even that. Dave the Diver, developed by Mint Rocket, is published by this like multi-billion-dollar corporation. It's their first game that they've done, and it's not like that. Yeah,
it's like if Amazon Games got it.
Right. It's not as if Mint Rocket had the entirety of this company's wallet to work with, but they did not have, and even I think I've seen that one of the heads of the corporations has like specifically said, I saw this quote where he was basically saying, people act like Dave the Diver's this small indie game, but really it's not. And like this is it is probably a small development team, and it is their first game.
Yeah.
But it's sort of where does independent come from? Is independent different than an indie game? Dave the Diver's definitely an indie game, but the thing is, it had this huge backing of capital to make it work. And on the flip side, you have Larian Studios, who is independent and who made Baldur's Gate. Like, they are an independent studio who funded it. They published and funded and did all of it themselves.
Yeah.
But they also...
But that is considered like a AAA game.
Yeah, they also had the resources to make a AAA game.
Yeah.
So why is it not considered independent when this other game, which is definitely an indie game, no one's going to say that Baldur's Gate is an indie game. And so I think it's just kind of... a weird conversation over the parsing of words, and that there's no actual
Definitive.
criteria that is
Yeah.
set out for what. I mean, there's no criteria for any of these, and that's
Right.
that's
That's
always
the
what
other
we end up
problem.
talking
Right.
about. But for this category specifically, like there is, it makes you wonder. Okay, what is independent? Like you can, and it's weird that carries a different connotation than calling something indie.
Yeah.
Because that often is sort of a look and an aesthetic and a certain vibe, and certainly the size of the studio, I think, has to do with it. But that's all I saw people were talking about on the internet, about the independent versus indie label, and why some games get to be it despite maybe having a lot more backing than other studios.
It's sort of like the weirdness with like Best New Artists at the Grammys.
Yeah.
Where like I don't know much about some of these artists, but like I remember when Bon Iver won the Best New Artist, and it's like this dude's had like 7 albums.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
what
just
do you-
like he finally broke through.
yeah, he just
Yeah.
finally broke
He's new
through.
in the sense that people know who he is.
Right, right. Like it's like I remember the bit, and I'm like, that guy's been making good music for a long time. Yeah, that's whatever.
And it's also a sort of there's a weird overlap between best independent and best debut indie, which is it has to be the first game from a studio, apparently, or a studio under that name anyway. And then there's also this kind of bleed out into games for impact, which is another
Always a
more like
vague category.
Vague category
Nothing.
And best community support.
right that ends up being like, well, community support's different, but games for impact is sort of, it becomes it's unfair to say that it's for like cast-offs of indie games that couldn't make it, that felt like they deserved to be nominated but maybe didn't fit into best independent game. It's weird how this stuff is categorized.
Oh yeah, let's get into the fun ones. Why is Final Fantasy 16 nominated for best RPG, and why is Lies of P labeled an RPG?
Well, I think that we, as a gaming society, have accepted that FromSoft clones are RPGs.
Have we?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's just where we are.
Okay. I want
Like that this is a new type of RPG.
Final Fantasy 16 is as deep of an RPG as Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Or Marvel Spider-Man 2. If you were going to call Final Fantasy 16 an RPG,
Then Spider-Man 2 was
then
absolutely
Spider-Man
one.
2 is absolutely an RPG.
I'm not calling it an RPG. I haven't played it. It doesn't sound like it's an RPG.
I would also not call it an RPG.
And like I said, it's in here because of its title.
You just select stats from a skill tree, like in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah. I think this nominee list is really funny though, because you have these two like definitely should not be here. One being, of course, Final Fantasy 16 because it's not an RPG, but then I think Starfield should just not be here because
Right,
how is this best? How is this the best one of the best that came out this year? No way.
I think it is hilarious that this was nominated Best RPG over Octopath Traveler 2, which is what a lot of people are really mad at.
Yeah.
And
Really, it fits the idea of RPG a lot more.
Yeah,
than
a
Starfield.
classic RPG.
when really people should be more mad that Final Fantasy 16 is nominated more than, because at least Starfield, here, I know you're frustrated. I don't actually disagree with you, but Starfield has stats to weapons and guns,
Yes.
different stuff
I mean,
like that.
Starfield
Like,
is an RPG in the way that all Bethesda games
you
are.
put stats into your character, you
It
build
is
it
a
out
specific
differently.
type of RPG that they have created.
You don't do any of that in Final Fantasy 16.
No, I listen, brother, I know.
And so, really, I like, people want to be mad about Starfield. It's fine, but it actually belongs there more than some of the other.
And
It
I
just
think,
doesn't stand up
again,
to the rest of the actual RPGs in the category.
So I wonder. I know it's all writers that do this stuff. I wonder how much
I don't think it's all
developers
writers.
and publishers input into this, because I think Square Enix
Who decides?
would absolutely rather have Final Fantasy 16 on this list than Octopath.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if one of them is
more
of an RPG.
Yeah, or like more deserving or more easily fits into
Right.
what this category typically should be.
Yeah.
Nominees are jury of over 100 global media and influencer outlets.
Influencer. Okay.
Yeah,
Right,
like
so I'm
IGN,
sure
kind of
it's
funny.
not
Polygon, like
just
all these.
Games Journos.
Game rant.
How do
Ugh.
we get on there? How do we get on there?
Yeah, get me on
Yeah,
there.
let's see what we can do.
We've
about
got good
that.
opinions.
Like, there's,
I would love to send my votes.
I've
in
never
for
heard
this.
of Touch Arcade in my life,
I have.
and I think we could do
I
it.
think I have.
Okay, so
What we need to do is become a subsidiary of one of these people.
right.
Yeah.
Only for the purposes
Of being
getting-
able to be on the
getting
voting
these-
board.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Digital Trends. Why do they
I
have
have.
two? Why do they? Oh, never mind. I was
Yeah,
misreading.
you just can't read. It's okay.
Actually, the problem is I did read.
Best family game once again, Nintendo and multiplayer.
Right.
Just generic
Again.
multiplayer.
I don't. Pikmin 4. I don't think it.
I don't think
This
that
is-
it goes
How's
there.
that a
Again,
family game?
This is just
Can you play co-op on that game?
not really.
How's it a
Pikmin
family
4
game?
How's Pikmin 4 a family game and a sim/strategy game?
It's definitely the latter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not the former.
Well, I mean, I don't. Those things are not mutually exclusive. It can be both of those. But I don't. Again, this is a category that has become okay. We need a category to put Nintendo games in, which is
But
weird.
they almost always end up in the Game of the Years
'cause they're-
anyways.
and even Pikmin.
They don't. The last like 2 to 3 years has not had a Nintendo game.
But I don't know that it's had ones that have been worthy of being in there.
Yeah.
But certainly when a Zelda or a Mario comes out, they're always in there.
Yeah.
And so, it's just a weird thing that it's Nintendo, so it has to be family. Which, I mean, they're all family friendly, I suppose. But they're not all games that a family can play together.
Yeah.
Which I think is what you think.
Now, Disney Illusion Island, from what David has told me about that game,
Yes.
awesome family game.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder, a family can absolutely play together.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sonic Superstars, they can.
Yeah, it's
Should they?
multiplayer.
Yep.
I don't know. Party Animals, you could.
It's a weird...
Category.
I actually don't think this year the categories... It has been weirder in the past. I think for the 4 out of 5 of these, it's, to an extent, makes sense for what the category is.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see. Most anticipated game.
Always a fun time.
Always a fun
We always
time.
love to see 3-time representations in this category.
Yes,
I don't think we have that this time.
No?
We have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8. I believe it's all first timers this time.
True.
I would consider 7 Rebirth a continuation of...
It wasn't in the last one, though.
Sure, but
So,
it's...
7
Remake took up a lot of years. for the
7
most
Rebirth
anticipated
definitely
category.
is going to be it. It's fine. It's going to win.
Yeah.
Maybe Hades 2.
Yeah, I think Hades 2, I think will win.
I think that streamer Zach likes is nominated for Content Creator of the Year.
Yep.
Iron
Mouse.
Mouse. Yeah. She's a VTuber.
I see.
Good old VTubers.
Yeah. Here's all the categories that don't matter.
No, yeah, the esports and stuff. Yeah, this is all.
I'm trying to find what was last year's best and most anticipated.
Yeah. Let's go to last
It
year's.
was Tears of the
panel
Kingdom,
list.
wasn't it?
Well, that would make sense. No, it was It was
The sequel to the Breath.
Oh, yeah,
of the
the
Wild.
sequel
Tears
to
of
The Legend of
Tears
Zelda Breath of
Kingdom
the
now.
Wild.
Oh, they don't have the whole nominees on their own website. That's a shame.
Hold on, they do on Wiki though.
God bless.
Man, best ongoing game was Final Fantasy 14 last year.
Last year was a good year for that game.
Yeah. Let's see. Hold on. Best role-playing game was Elden Ring. Best multiplayer game was Splatoon. Most anticipated game was Starfield, Resident Evil 4, Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, and Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Love to see Hogwarts
Legacy.
Legacy not nominated for a single thing this year.
It is.
anticipated,
Hold
though.
on. If we're talking about big games, though, it is
That
kind
was a
of
big game.
absolutely
Yeah,
wild
yeah.
that game did not get nominated for
Yeah.
something. Because it, I think, is still the highest selling game
I
of
think
the
so.
year.
I still see people talking about it that I wish would occasionally shut up about it.
It is wild to me that the developers of that game, those poor people, are in such a bad spot. Seemingly did everything they could to make a good game
Yeah.
despite the bad. Take J.K. Rowling out of it. It's hard to do that. But the work that the people put into that game just.
Under the rug.
Yeah, kind of.
And I don't think it's because of the politics of J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, it's
I
like-
think
No.
it is the strength of the year. Like, genuinely, I think but it is wild that they're not anywhere in here
Yeah.
with how much of a massive seller it was this year.
Yeah. I also think, like, as we pointed out some of these other categories, that, like, just the way that some of these categories are determined just doesn't make sense sometimes. Year to year, we're like, oh, this game definitely should have been here, and it's just completely missing, or like in Hogwarts Legacy's case, or like something is not in the right category, we would say, like Final Fantasy 16, like there will never be a year where there is 100% consistency across each of these categories, because they're probably not even all handled by the same
Yes.
people.
And that's
You
why
know?
this can never really one-to-one be with the Oscars, because
Yeah.
the Academy Awards has very specific categories.
Yes.
And there are a lot of people who have specific jobs. This is not about awarding people. It's about awarding their creations.
Yeah.
And so there aren't these tight categories that you can fit stuff into outside of you're a person or you're a game. You're a kid, now you're a squid.
I'm looking at best performance.
Human, dancer. These are opposites.
Ben Starr, Final Fantasy 16, Cameron Monaghan, Jedi Survivor, Idris Elba, Cyberpunk, Melanie Liburd for Alan Wake 2, Neil Newbin for Baldur's Gate 3, and Yuri Lowenthal for Spider-Man 2.
As far as performance, I would have put Miles as actor in there.
Instead of Yuri,
Yeah.
I would have too.
No, not to say that Yuri did a bad job.
No, but he's a known quantity.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew what he could. We knew what the Miles guy could do
It's true.
with the first game, but this game did
He
more.
got a lot more to shine for sure.
I think this should be Cameron Monaghan, if you want me to be honest. Because that was a mocap performance. It is him in the game. It is his voice acting. It is I'm sure that's a lot of the Melanie Liburd and Alan Wake 2 also.
So I
Same
don't
with
know.
Yuri, I think, right?
I know.
That was a mocap?
I would bet.
I don't think
I
it's
think
not
I
him
think it was
for
facial
sure.
capture, but not motion, like full body capture. So yeah.
Bless you.
I mean, it has to have been because that's why they changed the face. Part of his face had to be involved in it.
Yeah.
I think that the winner of this category is going to be Neil Newbon. I know.
Yeah, it's just because of the horny people.
I know that there is a specific character in Baldur's Gate that everyone loves, and I have to assume that this is
It's
the
his
voice
character.
actor.
Yeah.
And I think that actually, the early consensus that I was seeing and stuff on is that people seem to think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win. Is going to be that game,
The sweep.
that wins the most awards.
You know what? Never mind. That's maybe a horse I don't need to get on. All these filthy casuals should have just played D&D at one point in their life, and they wouldn't have been blown away by Baldur's Gate 3. I think that this game is cool, and I haven't played it yet, and I'm going to, and I'm going to like it. But at the end of the day, play D&D.
Yeah, but
Do-
you can
do
see
it.
this.
No, it's... Use your imagination.
Yeah, but I want
It's
to
not
see
hard.
it. I want to be able to
It's-
see it.
This makes me
It's
seethe.
okay, David.
It makes me seethe because people ovate like this is some innovation in everything, and they just put D&D on a screen. And I don't think that's bad. I'm not trying to take it away from them, but like if people would just expand their horizons, then they wouldn't be blown away by this.
So
Yeah, but you don't have to wrangle 8 people on a schedule to be able to play Baldur's Gate 3.
Sure, but also I think part of why people are so impressed with Baldur's Gate 3 is that I would say historically there has been, outside of a few cases, it's been pretty hard to just translate playing proper D&D into a video game.
I would bet the people who are thrilled about it are people who did play D&D and are amazed by the quality of the experience.
The translated experience.
Yeah.
There's
I
also,
think
just
that-
the group of people that are like, wow, I love Critical Role, but I've never rolled a dice in my life.
And it's D&D has become a much bigger cultural phenomena. So there is a larger audience who are willing to
I
do
get it. I get it.
And
I'm
again,
not-
this is a thing you can do by yourself as well.
Yeah, there's so many D&D things you could do by yourself. Literally, KOTOR is literally built on a 20-sided
Yeah.
die system.
Yes.
So many games are built on a 20-sided die
Have you
system.
ever sat down and done a role play of yourself? Like for yourself doing like a campaign by yourself?
No. I'm saying that there are other video games that have done this.
Yeah, and that's why I said with some exceptions.
With checks and like the whole deal. And I'm not like I said.
But again, those things aren't overtly D&D. Like this one wears it like so. It's so many games have systems that were probably pioneered by D&D working in the background.
Yeah, but Larian has literally made other video games that were this.
But this is the best one.
No, it's. I don't doubt that it's the best one, but they made D&D flavored games that they just now got to do D&D. That's it.
And it's the best one. And everyone who's played it said it's great. They can have done things before that with D&D trappings and them have not been as good of games.
I know that I'm the old man that yells at the cloud here. And I'm not trying to take away from people's experience with this game. But if you like this game, just go find people to play D&D with.
Or keep playing the game if you like it.
Sure, play the game. I don't think you shouldn't. But
I also don't think that everyone who likes this game would enjoy being in a group of a D&D group with people.
Well, maybe if they were more creative. But if they want options put in front of them, then sure. I don't know, but be more creative.
And they also want to see. They want to be able to see things.
Use your imagination.
Yeah,
There's art.
You can use
Get a
your
better
eyes.
DM that'll draw stuff and like make figures and stuff.
There's so many variables that you cannot control that you can control in a package that is a video game.
I get it. I probably will seethe if this wins. I will be pretty mad.
I think it's my sleeper pick right now. I think it's gonna upset.
I would be actively angry if this one wins over Tears of the Kingdom.
Well,
Like, probably my rank of like,
Look, we all leave the Game Awards being angry about something.
yeah, it should be either Tears of the Kingdom or Alan Wake 2 or Spider-Man 2 at this point.
Or
that's my 3 tiers.
Mario or Resident Evil 2 or Baldur's Gate.
I like Baldur's Gate.
It should be one of those 6, I think.
Baldur's
in
Gate is above Resident Evil 4. I'm putting it in a tier list of happy to sad, and really
Maybe
bottom
even
of the
mad.
barrel is if Resident Evil 4 wins.
Look, I'm just saying, if I had to pick one out of these 6
but the
games, if I had to
people
pick
that-
one game to win, I
You
would
know
pick
what?
one
You're
of these
not
6
wrong,
games.
because the people that vote for this voted for It Takes Two to win. So really,
It probably will be Baldur's Gate.
like it.
Listen, I'm going to be straight up with you. It's either going to be Baldur's Gate or Tears of the Kingdom. I really don't think it's going to be any other way for at least this category.
Yeah, I think it's tough though, but it is hard to picture any of these games beating Tears of the Kingdom. Even if I had better experiences, looking back, like in a show like this, it's very hard for me to.
Yeah, because this isn't like
I just
our
got
personal.
re-angry. I just got mad at the fact that It Takes Two won over Metroid
Yes.
Dread and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Yes, sir. I still hold that pain to this day. I
And
was thinking about it
Psychonauts 2
yesterday.
and Resident Evil Village.
Yeah.
God, Psychonauts 2 was so good.
And Last of Us Part 2 won over Animal Crossing and Final Fantasy VII Remake and Hades. These people aren't to be trusted. They shouldn't be allowed to vote.
The Game Awards is
In the
hosting
Game
a
Awards.
vote for best user-created Fortnite island inside Fortnite. What's going to win that one?
I don't know.
Did they
nominees.
do
There's 10
Did they do a
nominees.
Fortnite version of Blood Gulch from Halo? Because if so, that has my vote.
This is only in video form.
But yeah, these things will always upset us because they're not.
I'm
They're
just
just
gonna
not
need to
right.
fight someone. That's the thing. I'm just gonna need to fight
we're
someone.
We're gonna switch seats for the next few weeks.
What we need to do after this is get on Fortnite and go on the Game Awards island so we can look at all of the 10 creator-made islands and have an opinion on that as well.
All
So we
right.
have
I'll-
another
It would
thing to
get-
get mad about.
Yeah, get me
Yeah.
to play Fortnite.
No, we don't. No, we just go downstairs and do it, and David will do it, and we'll look.
Oh, okay.
I
Or
guess.
Or like he'll hand the controller off to.
No, I don't
I'm-
want to play it.
I want
I just want to see them.
Seth. I need to play Fortnite.
I
I need to.
He does. He downloaded it.
Yes.
Yeah, I uninstalled Apex the other day.
Oh, but that's been uninstalled.
Yeah, I think
for a
that's been
minute.
uninstalled for a hot
I
year for me
don't-
at this point.
I don't think I have uninstalled it since I originally installed
That
it on the
depresses me
Xbox.
because of the amount of times I've asked you to play Apex.
Yeah.
with me.
You want to know what I downloaded?
WarTales?
No. Madden 24.
Oh my god.
It's just a trial. There's a trial of it. I want to see. I have to know if the Sim 10 years does the same thing. I have to know if they fixed it.
What?
Or if
Didn't
they
you have a
changed
big
it.
problem with 23? Didn't you waste your money on that one?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I have my story straight. We're good.
Yes.
That's it. This is our sad existence. I care about the Game Awards.
You care too much about them.
I can't wait for
It'll
Jeff
hurt.
Cayley to stop someone from saying something he thinks is political.
I hope that happens so bad.
There's going to be no women on the stage.
I really want either that or I want someone to come up and just make a mockery of it like Bill Clinton kid did.
It's happened so many times.
I know, and I just want it to happen again and him to get up and look all mad.
Yeah. At this point, my only joy will be Jet's disappointment. If he can cry. Like, I would like him to cry on
Well, I mean,
stage.
this
He
year.
needs to understand that the audience he is catering to are gamers, and by nature, they are idiots.
Yes.
And they want to do stuff like that.
Well,
And we
he'll
say
probably-
this
that
as
stuff fun.
Jeff will
gamers.
probably be sad this year because I don't think Kojima has any reason to be at the show this year.
Of course he does.
He
He's going to
does.
show
What
up
ha-
and unveil his reason to be at the
Oh,
show.
yeah. Death
He's-
Stranding 2 is probably going to get a new trailer.
Death Stranding 2 or the weird cloud project he's still working on with Microsoft. Like there's
Yeah.
like 4 irons in the fire that Kojima's
Death
doing,
Stranding
dude.
show.
You are undervaluing what Kojima can come in and do.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna-
even outside of all the things that are potentially possible, is that he could show up and show something that he
Just
made up
completely
on the spot
random.
just to show up at the Game Awards.
It'll be like live action D&D. He will come up and describe something to the people. They'll have to use their imagination,
and
and
the whole
it'll get
screen.
nominated for Game of the Year.
No, it'll get nominated for most anticipated game.
Yeah.
And be on the nomination 4 years in a row. And then come out, I guess.
Ooh, boys.
The Game Awards. It brings out the worst in me every time.
A little bit.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
But then afterwards, we get our
You know
Game
what's great?
Awards, which is
Every
the
year-
most wonderful time.
Every
of the
year we
Brings out the
plan to
best in
record
us.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Every
And it
year
never
we quit,
happens.
and every year it's like, God, that was depressing. We don't want to do this.
But we'll do it. And we'll hate it. But we'll do it.
Yeah. Now no one will have to drive to Orlando afterwards.
We
Yeah.
should come up with our own for each one of these categories, independently of these nominations.
So
Or a
it can't
list.
have these games
Hold
on
on.
there.
Do we need to talk about this behind the scenes?
No, I'm just saying we should.
Because I don't think that's a bad idea.
But we should figure out all of our answers, even for the categories we don't know, and compare them.
Okay.
What
Okay.
happens?
But like us do picks
I don't know.
Like do nominations.
or do our own.
Well, I was thinking about doing our own, but then also I just think it would be funny for all of us have to come up with the best streamer. Like
I do think that's funny.
earnestly search ourselves. Like, all right, who do I want to nominate for best streamer?
I would
I've
pick.
got an
the year.
answer.
I would pick Dan Riker.
Yeah, I
That's
know
the
you
problem.
would.
I would pick.
I guess I'm the only one who doesn't know anyone.
Yeah.
I've only watched like 1 or 2 streams this year, but they were fun.
But I would only pick Dan because he's dumb.
Yeah. He's the best.
I guess I would probably pick GDQ.
There you go.
Yeah.
That works.
That's not a single streamer though.
Yeah, but it works. It's a streamer. It's on Twitch. Singular.
It is an
It's
event.
a singular channel.
It is a singular
It is a channel, though, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
I didn't say best channel, it's best streamer.
We'll see. Maybe I'll set something up where we put in the winners and we'll see who gets them all right. We'll see. I'll build a Google form.
Oh.
Yeah.
Welcome
This
to Google
isn't-
Forms.
This is in like 3 weeks.
Yeah, we can do it.
We can do it. I'll build it out. Don't worry. We'll see how.
Listeners, send your pics into David's text message.
Well, I'm gonna put the form in the Discord. So if you want to engage with this, you're
Send
more than
him
welcome to.
Handwritten letter.
A handwritten letter,
It's the only way, only accepted way.
3 stamps, mark urgent, covered in blood.
Yes, it has to be it has to be notarized.
Your blood,
And it has to be one of those a registered
yeah,
letter.
yes,
You have to sign for it.
and a small vial of the blood of an innocent.
Yes, yes.
That's not you.
Yeah.
So someone else.
Because if you're getting somebody else's blood for this, you are not innocent.
Yeah. And
Well,
with
you can still be innocent, but since we already are getting your blood, we're gonna need different blood.
yeah. 2 forms of blood
Yeah,
identification.
2 forms of blood identification. One of them not yours.
It's a control, really.
Yeah.
But with that, we appreciate you listening, and we will talk at you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
See ya.